Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Athirah binti Rusley and I will presenting the introduction to Ishikawa diagram. The first one is the challenges in managing construction activities that related to sustainability, and the second one is the role of stakeholders towards sustainability. Last but not least, I will present the conclusion. Hope you guys enjoy it.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is NURUL ARIFFAH binti IDRIS. So here, I would like to present the challenges in managing construction activities in relation with sustainability.
Assalamualaikum, my name is SITI FITRAH binti AZMAN and I will explain about the role of construction stakeholder towards sustainability in this video.
Hi, my name is YASHMIN binti YASSIN and I will be explaining on two discussion topics, which are the recommendation to improve the current situation in managing construction activities and the innovation for future implementation.
For this presentation, we would like to start with the introduction. So for the introduction, I will explain about two things, which is what is sustainability and also what is sustainable construction. As for we know that the concept of sustainability in the context of the environment was defined by many leading advocates during the 1980s. Nowadays, almost every day we learn of a new technology, social dilemma, or environmental issue. So what we can define the sustainability is the process and action through which humankind avoids the depletion of natural resources to keep an ecological balance so that society's quality of life does not decrease. This is written by Matter 2020. So for the sustainable construction, which known as green construction, which provide the structure, the construction process, and occupancy processes that are environmentally responsible and resource efficient throughout a building's life cycle, from location to the design, construction, next to the operation, maintenance, renovation, and the last one, demolition of work.
Basically, we have three divisions for challenges in managing construction activities in relation with sustainability, which is the first one, challenging in construction material and cost. Next, challenging in construction method and technology. And the last one is challenging in changing working environment. Firstly, for the challenging in construction material and cost, sustainable materials play a critical part of the construction industry. In the building sector, the advantages of sustainable materials can usually be classified into the environmental benefits, economic benefits, and social benefits. Sustainable material boosts the economic dimension by generating fewer waste of disposal, and therefore existing waste disposal facilities have been reduced. Several researchers agree that waste material generated in the development and destruction of infrastructure and structures constitute a large sum, is about 10 to 15% of the overall construction waste source in the municipalities. Because of this issue, sustainable construction aims to decrease pollutant such as waste material, automobile pollutant, vibration, and toxin leakage into climate, air, and water. The word waste has become very popular in many communities and can be defined as any waste product materials of industrial and human operation which have no residential value. As the usage of recycled product in the building sector is extremely relevant, academics and building professionals will do their part to implement steps to minimize the adverse impact of production to sharpen this market edge, so that the implementation of sustainable material is needed in order to ensure a fair situation for both the building industry and the global climate. In terms of cost, Implementing sustainability initiative require considerable capital expenditure of time and cost. This, in turn, will lower the desire of the contractor in doing this sustainability construction. This is because sustainable construction take times and need more money to be spent. Sustainable construction need to cost more to build relative to traditional designs. Construction costs vary from 1 to 25% higher for sustainable projects. The other researchers state that the initial investment of sustainable construction may be greater than that of traditional buildings. The higher costs are due to the sophistication of the design and the expense of analysis needed for incorporating sustainable activities into project. By using sustainable materials such as green material would cost 3 to 4% more than traditional construction materials. Many of the component cost it more than their traditional equivalent. For example, the plywood costs around 10 times more than the standard plywood. This issue of increased cost of sourcing sustainable goods and equipment is a barrier to the change to sustainability construction among the contractors and developers. Next, we move to the challenging in method and technology. Green construction practices are dealing with the complexities of implementing modern technologies and operating procedure for utilizing emerging equipment. Then, sustainable construction activities and procedure should to improve the standard building industry activity. Besides, the creation and waste introduction of new creative of procuring, planning, building, using and sustaining technology as an obstacle for the construction industry, especially for sustainable construction. Such creative approach will fulfill the varied demand of increasingly challenging consumer, business and the city who insist on time, expense, price, energy and safety impact. Other than that, another significant problem is the complexity of the success of such product and technology among market stakeholders, and consequently their value output. For examples of the obstacles such increase the opposition among professionals to embrace the shift from traditional methods to more sustainable constructions. Sustainable technologies are typically in an early deployment process where standards and other contract agreements have not been fully developed. And of course, the shortage of appropriate environmental solutions rise a big obstacle for sustainable construction. Next, for the challenging in changing working environment. Basically, in this section, there has 3 divisions include communications, leadership, and motivations. For the first one is the communication. Communication for sustainable development is specifically crucial in creating bridge through multiple stakeholders group. The use of communication in sustainability development, for example, is not feasible depend on the properties of conventional advertising and message architecture, the method implemented for the implementation, and seeking ways to determine the effects. Communication play a key position in every policy on sustainability. It will be impossible to incorporate the improvement in order to render the industry more efficient because there is a lack of technical coordination inside the organization. In addition, direct contact with consumer, working associate and the environment is a must for sustainable initiative, or the company may suffer losses in terms of income of product or service, thus a growing movement for sustainable development. Social dialogue is necessary if sustainable development is to be valid, and this will be the factor in order to make sure the communication is effective in the development of sustainability. Effective communication skills are enable, promote and develop the awareness and trust required to inspire others to follow a leader. One manager completes nothing beyond communicating effectively. This is because a boss is not an excellent manager without good contact. Next, we move to the second part of challenging in changing working environment, which is leadership. Leadership for promoting sustainable development is grounded in a system of living system, not a deterministic model. Sophisticated living systems display ecological properties and habits, which may propose essential leadership approach. It is well recognized that the challenges of today in pursuing sustainability development are complex, intertwined, and would ensure that we strive for a more prosperous future. Consequently, leaders who is person who create opportunity for participants to come together and produce their own response instead of proposing a solution. Good leadership may be claimed the same if repeated at the regional level. Successful leadership has an ability to integrate a country's tool for supporting sustainable development. Leaders should understand that the pressure, dispute, and unpredictability caused by differences offer enormous potential for the artistic creation of good solutions towards sustainability development. And lastly, for the challenging in changing working environment will be the motivations. Motivation is crucial to ensure that construction players such as architects are actively engaged in green building activities. The construction industry has growing drivers of inspiration for sustainable development activities. This included improved way of life for green building consumer and our tenant. Idealistic conviction that wasteful activities and their impact on man and earth are genuine and negative, strengthened prestige and identification, and compelling power or encouragement from supporters of sustainability leaders or members. In terms of economic motivation for the sustainable development, numerous research indicate that sustainable buildings operate as more effective and safe during activities, which is energy consumption and water quality, as this change improve the manager to gain economic value from green marketing as its advantages. Economic incentive due to the cultural, financial, economic, and environmental encouragement are crucial impetus for developers to accelerate the growth of sustainable development not just in Malaysia but in many other countries across the world.
First of all, I will explain about stakeholder. Stakeholder can be defined as individual and organization who are actively involved in the project. Basically, stakeholder is known as the important parties such as client, design team, and main contractor. Every stakeholder is important as they have own role and responsibility to sustainability. Stakeholder can be internal or external. A well-managed stakeholder engagement process can help the project stakeholder to work together to increase the quality of project and avoid negative environment and also increase the economic sustainability of the construction. In this video, I will explain about developer, contractor, consultant, supplier, construction worker and authorities' role and responsibility towards sustainability. In the construction industry, a developer is usually a person who develop land with construction. The developer gain profit by development of the land by selling a development such as residential home, shopping mall or office building. The developer play an important role in the sustainable construction and green building. The developer should introduce a mechanism-based contract which can tend to achieve green building standard. Besides that, the developer should provide changes to implementing green development through various aspects and should take role of leadership in changes the construction industry is into sustainability. This is because the developer is regarded as the key decision maker. In addition, the involvement of the developer in the green sustainable building will make the developer become more competitive in the industry. To make the green building, the developer had to obtain certification from the green building certifiers such as Green Mark, Green Star and Green Building Index. Basically, a contractor can be defined as a person who are responsible for their performance on the site. A general contractor should involve in the project in an early stage and fully responsible for all activity in the construction. In green or sustainable building, the contractor is responsible to follow all the specifications of the contract in terms of method construction, quality of material, type of material and plant and equipment. The contractor is selected and chosen based on their experience in the sustainable construction. Besides that, the contractor also play a main role in defining and operating sustainable certified leadership in energy and environmental design (LEED) building. The role of the contractor starts from planning for every measure that require LEED standards, which are totally different from the ordinary project. The rating of LEED is credited to the main contractor in some environment aspects such as sustainable material, site resources, indoor environmental quality and safety. To achieve the certification, the contractor have to use eco-friendly material. Besides that, the contractor is also act as the material manager. This is because all the material of the project is normally ordered by the contractor. As the result, contractor have to follow all the instruction schedule and lead to successful project. An early involvement will give the contractor opportunity to navigate the submittal process and receive the material according to the specification of the contract. To gain the LEED certification of sustainable green building, there are 3 phases. First is pre-construction phase. In this phase, the contractor is responsible of project review and site visit before construction start. Second, the contractor should provide client and design team cost implication. Third, analyze the initial cost budget to identify what material can be obtained for LEED goals. The contractor also have to visit construction site to assess the existing site specific condition. This is important as to determine the characteristic of the land. Understanding the characteristic of the site can help the contractor develop a plan to reduce the pollution. In construction phase, the contractor is responsible for job site quality control. It's because the contractor should ensure that all work are according to the specification and equality as stated in the contract. The contractor should present and discuss with the project manager and foreman to expose the LEED requirement. This is important as they will understand the concept of the LEED. Next, review the manufacturer data and approval of material before installation. Lastly, continuous monitoring, education of staff, subcontractor and construction site worker. Consultant is very important in the construction industry. There are many types of consultants in construction industry such as design team, project manager, service engineer. The task of the consultant can be defined as developing and supporting the development of the design, working with tasks related to project management, contract administration, inspecting the work of construction contractor, advising on sustainability and give advice, and helping develop the project. In order to achieve the green or sustainable building, the consultant should have a higher awareness of the sustainability. Besides that, the consultant also may help provide the systematic and effectively cost for the construction. This is because to build sustainable construction require higher cost than conventional building method. The main role and responsibility of the design team are to define the intent of each of the green construction activity, the requirement to achieve the green construction activity, documentation need, the managing and checking requirement for the contractor. Consultants who involved in sustainability construction should have a higher experience and knowledge about the green construction. There are many other The role and responsibility of consultant, as the consultant is represent for all the construction consultant in the construction industry. Supplier can be defined as the party who supply the material to the site. The supplier will supply the material as per request by the contractor. In Malaysia, the crane manufacturing company have to follow the criteria stated in National Crane Technology Policy (NGTP) and the SIRIM Eco-Label Standard to produce crane product. The life cycle of the building material shall follow the standardized procedure starting from the extraction of raw material until the waste disposal to follow the crane building material. The role of supplier is to provide the raw material and sometimes plant and machinery used in the construction industry. Basically, the crane building material are made from renewable sources. Basically, the characteristics of crane building material are energy conservation, reduced maintenance costs, and improved occupant health. There are several solutions for crane building material to achieve sustainability, which are: first, resource efficiency, indoor air quality, energy efficiency, water conservation, and affordability. Construction worker is very important in the construction industry as they are one of the main resources in the project, because without them, the construction cannot be produced and built. The way in which construction work is planned and controlled have direct bearing on the motivation and overall satisfaction of the worker. The construction worker have to give a high productivity and raise their level of qualification easier. This is because the higher the level of specialization, the higher the quality of work of performance. Basically, crane building construction is different than typical building. This is because the construction has to follow the specification and requirement that have been stated to achieve certification of the crane building. To achieve the sustainability, the skill must have skill development. Skill development can be defined as the labor is willing to give effort in learning something new than before and do something that never done before. Basically, there are two types of worker, which are skilled and unskilled worker. Lastly, the local authority. In construction industry, the authority is important as the construction is needed to gain the approval authority before construction site. The effective cooperation between the government and other systems should be ensured to achieve efficient environmental management and protection. The authority is responsible to give a planning permission, building regulation approval, and health safety. Planning permission is needed before the construction begins. All the development require planning permission other than permitted development. The permission can be gained from the local planning authority. The process of planning approval is important for sustainable development to be addresses an issue related to it and resolved accordingly. Second, the building regulation approval. Besides planning permission, construction will also need the building regulation approval. This is because the building regulation has set out specific requirements for building design and construction. The approval can be obtained from the building control department of the local authority or from an approved inspector. Lastly, health and safety. The construction design and management regulation ensure that health and safety issues are properly considered during a project development so that the risk of harm to those who have to build, use, and maintain structure is reduced.
Now, we will be talking about the recommendations to improve current situation in managing construction activities relation to sustainability. As we all know, the cost of the life cycle is an important tool for achieving cost efficiency in construction projects. This is because the concept of sustainability as applied to building construction seeks to encourage optimal efficiency and to reduce financial costs. Life cycle costing can be applied effectively, involving the use of cautious, structured design and development practices with clear environmental considerations. Next, the design team should build a system in which alternative approaches and decisions are explored. These approaches happens before the actual construction phase of the project by way of life cycle cost analysis strategies or lifetime cost. These alternative choices help the decision-making process among construction workers to maintain sustainable construction. Next, working together to concentrate on the common objective of achieving social, environmental, and economic sustainability. This is to highlight the implementation of sustainable construction projects for clients, owners, design teams, and other project building stakeholders should work together to concentrate on the common objectives. Last but not least is the reuse of building materials as an option for the elimination of construction and demolition waste. The reuse and recycling of waste materials can also reduces the general environmental impact of recycling products, particularly resource use and waste generation. Natural materials tend to be lower in embodied energy and toxicity than human-made materials. This is because natural materials need less processing and thus less harmful to the environment. Next, I will be talking about the innovation for future implementation to those challenges in managing construction activities in relation to sustainability. Firstly is the need to educate public and private construction clients about the benefits of sustainability. This is to enhance understanding and awareness of this concept and to undertake action to allow this concept to be successful in future construction projects. There are several ways that can be used to enhance understanding, such as educating developed players through conferences, trainings, seminars, and workshops. Next, the government funding and opportunities will spur interest among builders. Governments have a crucial role to play in promoting sustainable development. It is recommended to have a full-length report that should be undertaken on the shortcomings of the application of existing legislation to ease the question of lack of compliance. On this part, the government, non-governmental organization, and educational institutions will be actively promoting sustainability in this region with much encouragement. Next, the knowledge of current implementation, shortcomings, and potentials will open up opportunities for more action to enhance results. This is very useful to produce guidelines that can illustrate the sustainability aspects of the construction process to allow such features to be handled effectively and efficiently. Apart from that, choosing the right communication tool can speed up knowledge change and simplify it. The stakeholders of the company may use available project collaboration software solutions that enable all stakeholders to quickly share and disseminate information about the project. With this, everyone has the most up-to-date information that are available to be checked. Next, the leadership may impact greatly on employee performance and participatory leadership styles that can help to improve employee performance. The project leaders should recognize and follow the most acceptable leadership styles to be exercised and implemented in conjunction with the project's life cycle phases to maintain the effectiveness of project management and achieve project goals. Last but not least is the rise of sustainable buildings, particularly green building. The design strategy of green building has a combination of oriented approach to extended lifetime of natural resources, reducing operational costs such as energy and water usage, providing comfort, protection, and productivity for all humans.
As you can see, this is the Ishikawa diagram that explains the challenges in managing construction activities related to sustainability. So, challenges in managing construction activities related to sustainability has three main things, which is construction material and cost, changes in working environment, construction method and technology. Next, we can see the diagram that show another Ishikawa, which define the role of construction stakeholder towards sustainability. It is divided into 6 stakeholder, which is developer, supplier, labor, contractor, consultant, and the last but not least, the authorities. So basically, these two diagram Ishikawa, it's explain the causes of an event, which often used in the product development or construction development to outline the different steps in the process, and also demonstrate where quality control issue might arise, and also determines which resources are required. Lastly, we would like to conclude this assessment. So for the conclusion, this sustainable development or construction give an insight that taking place on real-life construction projects. It provided value information, both construction, which including impact assessment, practitioners, and academic audience on putting into operation sustainability assessment and other sustainable concepts throughout project delivery. As had been presented by ARIFFAH, many of the challenges are common things for the companies that adopt the drive by different reasons and forces. Hence, it's rendering a wide area for the research to catch up with the practice. The role and responsibilities of stakeholders in their important roles of assisting in the development of project-specific and sustainable outcomes. So basically, it is a challenge for the future practice and literature to concur in comprehensive concepts and methodologies that integrate in all three strategic, which is project and operational level of the sustainable performance without presenting further complexity in the management practice. It will also lead to the natural evolution of the implementation of sustainable in the practice.